we know, according to the strat, that the target for this 322 reversal, and where is it? Right here. Right here. The 322 bullish reversal, that target is at the top of that candle right here. The top of that candle is at 3. The top of that 3 also happens to be that 2 up on the week trigger. So if Pepsi triggers a 322 reversal on the day and it gets to target, you will be triggering a 2-2 continuation on the weekly chart, because that target for the day happens to be the 2-2 continuation on the weekly chart off of OTE. And that is how you can predict or foreshadow how price can get. That's why I tell people, like, you gotta be, it takes some time to see it. And maybe I'm sorry if I'm confusing y'all, but it takes some time to see how a price can get to where you want it to get to. But the actionable signals give you the guidelines, because it tells you, hey, if you trigger this, you must go there. And if that target happens to be the entry for a higher time frame, you are therefore triggering that higher time frame. So I think Pep is an example. So if I go to Pep, I can see that we have a major swing low from here. If I were to just go back, right, zoom out the chart, and I can see, okay, there is definitely a swing low right here and a swing high right there, right? So I would draw an OTE from here to here, and I named this my major OTE. This OTE could probably be seen better on like a weekly time frame, or actually, I think a monthly time frame. Yeah, monthly time frame. So you can clearly see this is a swing low and this is a swing high right there. This is my major OTE, because this is a OTE on a monthly chart. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then if I were to drill down, that's my OTE on a monthly chart. And I say, oh, okay, this is another on a daily. This is a swing low right here. And looks like we just put in a swing high, because now we're starting to go down. So since we're now starting to go down, I'm going to draw a minor OTE. And this is what I call just my regular OTE, which is a different color. And so now I have 2 OTE levels. I have that OTE on the daily time frame. If price actually does now want to create an uptrend, this would be the level that it would bounce from. And that also would coincide with the monthly OTE if price were to do something like this. And so do you see how the major OTE, and if you put it alongside the daily OTE, that's how you can get possible boom. As long as Pepsi holds 162.76, you're still in buy zone. It can keep going down. And also there is a gap fill to this downside right here. Yeah, there's a gap. So Pepsi can come down to fill this gap, but as long as we hold this level, we should assume that the trend is up. Now, why am I saying the trend is up? The reason, because some people can say, wait, but hold on, we're in a downtrend. And if you look at the highest time frames, it looks like we're going down. We triggered 2 down. We're like currently a failed shooter on the 3 month, setting up for a possible 2-2 down on the 3 month. If you look at the monthly, we triggered a 3-1-2 down on the month, but we're just now hammering on the monthly chart, right? So some people could say, why don't you think that this is going to do a 3-1-2 down on the month? It can do that. However, the fact that we are at OTE, and hold on, the fact that we are at OTE, and also you did have this market structure shift. If you look at this, Pepsi, you're in a downtrend, 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 downtrend. Now, all of a sudden, you're making a higher high instead of a lower high compared to this level. So now I want to see, okay, are you now trying to switch trend and say you're going to now be making higher highs, lower high, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows? And if that's the case, this needs to be the level that you hold for that potential uptrend. So we would need to see now on the weekly chart, and we can actually look at it right now, because Pepsi went 2 up on the week. And this is what I mean by it not displaced, but we are getting a possible market structure shift, is because this is the first time we're going 2 up on the week when we've just been going down, down, inside, down, down. And it's our first 2 up that we put. Why are we going up now when every single time we've been going down? So if this is truly going to be a shift in trend, we need to hold this level to potentially get another 2 up candle.
And being that time frame continuity for the month, the quarter, I guess is still red.
Mhm.
That would then be something that we kind of watch to see if it triggers the next one, like in the domino effect.
You are correct.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
are in conflict and continuity. I'm glad you have this question. We are in conflict and continuity. So we have to, oh, snap, the month is red, that's bad. The quarter is red, that's bad. The year is red, that's bad. So now we want to see, okay, how can we flip those higher time frame continuity, higher time frame participants to align with us? We know that the week is green so far, so we're good with the week. How do we flip the month back green? The open is what determines the color of the candle. So Pepsi, all it needs to do is get to 164.86 to flip green, right? And then now that you guys know that Pepsi flips green on the month at 164.86, you go to the daily, and remember, we are giving ourselves if-then statements. How do we get this to align with us? Now, I want people to notice this. How many cents are we away from flipping green on the month? 20 cents. So now I want you guys to think about this. All we need for Pepsi to start flipping with us and with our time frame continuity, since we're in calls, we just need to now start getting the monthly on our side. Now I want you guys to think about this. We have a potential actionable signal on the daily. What actionable signal do we potentially have on the daily right now?
A 312.
Not a 312.
I'm sorry, 322.
322. We have a potential 322 reversal back to the upside. And guess what? Pepsi also hammered on the day, giving us the potential signal that, oh, you possibly do want to go up tomorrow. Now, if-then statements. If Pepsi does trigger 2 up on the day on Monday, what does the day flip into? What color?
Green.
What will the week be?
Green.
And also, if Pepsi flips 2 up on the day, what are we going to be above?
The monthly flip.
And so what does the month flip to?
Green.
Now we are back in green day, green week, green month. And so and that's why I tell people, like, you have to understand where price is, because we're trying to get, first of all, you want to trade in alignment with full time frame continuity. But in this case, I'm getting Pepsi from the bottom of the broadening formation and trying to flip up, right? Because it's been in a downtrend. So that's why the day is red, the week is red, the month is red, the quarter is red, the year is red, because it's been going down. And now I want to see, okay, are we potentially about to flip up? In order for us to flip up, that is how we take continuity from being all green to now working with us to be green on the month, green on the week, green on the day. And we want to try to see if we can flip that quarter green, but the quarter green is not going to be for a while. But at least right now, we may start to get the monthlies to work in our favor. Now I want you to think of it like this. Because remember, we're planning for the trade before we even get in. If-then statements. If Pepsi happens to flip, does what it needs to do on the daily, where it does that 322 reversal on the day, go up, now the week is green, now the day is green, now the month is green, right? If we start pushing up, let's say we were to push up that week, what does Pepsi's monthly candle start to become? So now, if this is now a green hammer, what are we setting up for the month of April? Let's say we close as a green hammer. What are we now setting up to do for the month of April?
122.
A 122 reversal for the month of April for the new candle. Because remember, they're hammering on the month as this moment. We need to pay attention to that. And not only are they just hammering at the month, they could also be doing it right at OTE at the 618. And so that's why I'm saying, okay, let's say if they actually are hammering at that 618. If this is actually the case, then what would I need to see start happening? I would need to see that the month would flip green to start setting up for this next candle to go to up. And you guys can see how that can possibly come about before it happens. And how can you see it? The actionable signals. Because look now, you have and that's why I say the strat can tell you how a trade can get there. What would it have to do? It would literally have to do a 322 up on the day to now turn the month back green. We're in a new week, so now the day is back green, and the day is green, the week is green, and the month is green, and we now have to go 2 up on the week. We would now have to do a 2-2 continuation on the weekly chart. This is the entry for the previous week high. Okay, so we're saying we want price to go up. We're in calls, or I'm in calls. I want price to go up. How will Pepsi go 2 up on the week? How can it go 2 up on the week? By doing a 322 up reversal on the day. And if it does do that, 322 reversal on the day, that would be make us what, $1, about 80 cents away from triggering that 2 up on the week. So then I ask you, or not literally, but then I ask, like if someone is in a position, because I will say, what is the likelihood of us going up? What is the probability of us going up, of flipping green? All Pepsi needs is 1 2 up candle to flip back green on the month and to potentially trigger 2 up on the week. Why do I think it could potentially trigger 2 up on the week? The target for the 322 reversal is what? We know, according to the strat, that the target for this 322 reversal, and where is it? Right here. Right here. The 322 bullish reversal, that target is at the top of that candle right here. The top of that candle is at 3. The top of that 3 also happens to be that 2 up on the week trigger. So if Pepsi triggers a 322 reversal on the day and it gets to target, you will be triggering a 2-2 continuation on the weekly chart, because that target for the day happens to be the 2-2 continuation on the weekly chart off of OTE. And that is how you can predict or foreshadow how price can get. That's why I tell people, like, you gotta be, it takes some time to see it. And maybe I'm sorry if I'm confusing y'all, but it takes some time to see how a price can get to where you want it to get to. But the actionable signals give you the guidelines, because it tells you, hey, if you trigger this, you must go there. And if that target happens to be the entry for a higher time frame, you are therefore triggering that higher time frame. So when I was looking at Pepsi on the daily, the first thing I just randomly came across Pepsi and I saw the 113. When I saw this 113, I was like, oh my gosh, why are they doing a 113? We know a 113 is also an AMD, right? Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. For those of you guys that trade ICT, we know about the concept of sweeping low, sweeping the low, sweeping the highs. Before we look for a true reversal, sometimes you can see them sweep the low, sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity before flipping back up. If we were to sweep the lows and sweep the highs, what does that look like? That would look like price doing this. Up, down, up. Sweep the lows, go below the broadening formation before reversing back up. If you do this, this is just sell side liquidity right here, right? So before Pepsi were to come up, it would need to take out sell side. Is that right here? Take out sell side before ultimately reversing back up. Now, what do we always talk about? We talked about this last week. What do we always talk about? That what type of candle do you what would you like to see at the bottom of a broadening formation, at the top of a broadening formation? Those outside bars. When you see an outside, when you see an outside bar to the upside at the bottom of a broadening formation, I'm automatically thinking upside, because we know the range, this is going to be your stop loss, and this is the potential magnitude for the play. Same thing with the opposite side. If you have a outside 3 to maybe a shooter to the downside, we know we're looking for that 3-2 down at the top of the broadening formation. Now, look at Pepsi on the daily, and this is a blank chart. If you draw your broadening, and you draw another one right here, boom, you can see that all Pepsi did was go below the broadening formation, and now it created a 113. On a higher time frame, this would be a wick. Let me show you. Watch. Look at this. Look at the 6-day. Broad support and resistance. Look at that. On the 6-day, it's a wick, telling you, oh, no, sorry. We don't want to actually get below the broadening. No, sorry about that. And they swept sell side. Oh, reverse. You're telling me that now this is the potential. This is all you have to see. That 113. I'm telling you, when you guys see a 3, y'all gotta pay attention. Whenever a 3 is placed, you need to see why. Why are you doing that? Right? So once that 3 was placed, I'm saying this. This is my potential move for this trade. The 3 bar, because remember back to when I was talking about Vincent and I said that once 3s are placed, we ain't really getting out unless the low of the 3 is lost. This was my stop loss right there, that 3. And for this potential move all the way up here, because this is where a possible reversal is about to start. Remember, for a trend down, and then all of a sudden we go back up, right? And then so what should you guys see? A trend line break right here. You guys see that right here? This trend line break? And this is a 3 candle right here. This line right here would be a 3 candle. Now I'm gonna superimpose this picture.
Okay, it broke. Is it
3, trend line break 3, breaking trend. It's the same Abby model too. You're just looking for that displacement to break the trend. And if you also look at the weekly chart went to, remember how I said, like, people, when price, if you're taking the strat trigger and you're in your calls and price breaks up, but then it retraces down and people say like, oh, are you still in? And I'm like, yeah, we went up. And they're like, wait, but we're down. I'm like, but yeah, but we went up. They're like, yeah, but we're down. I'm like, yeah, but we went up. The reason why is because Pepsi went 2 up on the week. It went down once it triggered. And that's why I say, like, once they triggered, to me, that's them showing their hand, saying this is where we want to go, just wait. And why? Because by them triggering 2 up on the week, what are you technically doing? Literally, by definition, by you triggering 2 up on the week, you are by definition putting in a higher high. By you going 2 up, you by definition are putting in a higher high. Remember, when it comes to this Abby model, once the higher high is placed, what are we looking for to actually confirm if we get the trend change? The higher low. Once that higher high, because remember, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And all of a sudden you get a higher high. Remember, the confirmation once you get the higher high is a higher low. And all we need is, and once Pepsi started hammering on Friday, I was like, hallelujah.